First I just want to say congratulations to the Hall of Honor honorees, Dick LeBeau, Willie Parker, Jason Gilden, Casey Hampton. And I had an opportunity and the blessing to work with 3 of those 4 men. Obviously, I've known Jason since I've been here, and they're so deserving of the honor. And I'm glad that we're able to do our part in terms of making this a really good weekend for them. They're deserving of that. And so just want to tip the cap to those guys. Appreciative of the efforts in game. It didn't start off the way we would like in terms of fluidity. We weren't converting third downs there early on, but the guys found their traction. I appreciate the defense providing some short fields and some splash in the effort to kind of get us going. It's a team game in that way. And then obviously the special teams with a splash play down the stretch to get us out of the stadium, man. That's what teams do. They make plays in all 3 phases. They uplift one another. When a certain component of it isn't rolling as smoothly as you'd like. Thankful for the win. It's AFC North football, and we'll take it and keep moving. On the injury front, man, we had a bunch of bumps and bruises associated with play. I think the only thing that's really worth mentioning at this point is Larry Ogunjobi went out with a groin in the first half or so, maybe second quarter, and he wasn't able to return. I have an update on Tuesday for you guys regarding some of those other ones. GP, was listed as questionable. We didn't feel like he was going to be able to play the type of number of snaps that we thought would be worth putting him in a uniform, to be quite honest with you. We didn't want a small problem to become a big problem, and so we put a helmet on Scotty Miller, and as you can see, most of the time when you put the helmets on the healthy guys, man, they take care of the rest. Scotty made some plays for us, and thankful for that. That's another example of the team component of this game, man. You can waste a lot of time worried about the guys that are unavailable to you. We choose to focus our energies on the guys that are available to us, their preparedness, and then ultimately their play. Tip of the cap to Scotty Miller, man, stepping up and making some big plays for us. I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Big catch from Mike Williams, too. Without George, what did you find out about your passing game or your receivers without him?
It's what we've been kind of discovering or rediscovering throughout every component of this process. You guys were asking us about our lack of quote unquote a number 2 in team development, and the guys made plays. Whoever we throw the ball to makes plays. The strength of the pack is the pack. We got a bunch of guys that want to be the reasons why we're successful, and when given an opportunity, I think they continually prove that, whether it's Scotty or Mike or Calvin or whoever, Van. We believe in our group. I know I've said that to you guys repeatedly. Maybe you'll start believing me.
Mike, you said that obviously the defense set up the offense a little bit, but what led to its better fluidity, you think, in the second half?
I think just settling down and getting a feel for maybe how they were playing us. Sometimes it's that component of it, man. Jim Schwartz has been around a long time. He's a savvy coordinator. He did some nice things schematically.
Do you think that they changed it all with George not out there, how they were played? Could you tell?
You'd have to ask them that.
Coach, you mentored a lot of younger players, and I talked with Joe Hayden about that recently. And it looks like the younger players like B.D. Bishop, number 15, and Nick Herbig, they're starting to respond to the next man up, mentorship from you. What's your take on that?
They're capable people. I don't want to absorb any of the credit that they deserve, man. I hadn't made a football play in a long, long time. Most of those guys you mentioned made plays today, man. They're deserving of the credit. They work hard. They prepare themselves. They're not intimidated by the environment, although they lack experience. And I think that's the key ingredient.
Specifically, what were your points of emphasis operationally to stop the long drives that you had been giving up on defense? In this particular game, you didn't give them up.
I don't know that we've been giving up a whole bunch of long drives. I disagree with you there.
Say about the defense and Canu Benton, that interception that he had was a turning point, I thought, for the offense to get the offense going.
Sometimes when you're struggling a little bit to gain some traction, man, the short field will get you going. Man, can't say enough about that play. KB is a young guy that's evolving in a big way, and I just think that play is an example of it.
Mike, can you speak to the value of Russell's running ability today?
We don't want to make a living doing so, man, but we're also willing to take what the defense gives us, and he's a sharp guy. We trust his decision making, not only in terms of whether to give or to keep, but to keep himself safe in terms of getting down. I thought he did a nice job of all of those things.
Mike, this stage in the season, they make a couple of mistakes, miss field goals, Keanu with an interception, and the offense capitalizes. At this point in December, how crucial is it for you guys to be able to capitalize when situations like that arise?
It's complementary football is what you're talking about and what we focus on. We got to build off of positivity. That's what good teams do this time of year. Somebody makes a play, the other side of the ball backs it up and so forth, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to play complementary football, like whether it's putting the fire out or building upon the good. I just like the trajectory of our group in that regard, but it's needed. As the road gets narrow, man, you got to play really good complementary football in an effort to keep rolling.
Coach, your thoughts on just the continued pressure that you put on Winston from Cam Hayward, along with, I was trying to remember the other one. It was Cam Hayward. I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry.
We got to ride the wave that 4-man rush provides, man. We put a lot of time in terms of developing that group and acquiring talent in that space. We're not bashful about that. Our bigs set the pace for us, and then our littles obviously closed the door, and so I'm just appreciative of those efforts, and good to have Alex Highsmith back in the fold, and just thankful for the consistent pressure that they're able to put on them today.
What can you say about Russ's handling of the game today? Early start, Browns getting after it a lot. Second half seemed like you guys made a lot of adjustments.
Russ has been in this thing a while. He's not going to shrink in the face of adversity. He's just seen too much. I thought he was steady, but equally as important, I thought he kept the group steady until we found our footing.
Mike, to your earlier comment about George, do you expect him to be available for next week?
We can talk about that on Tuesday. It's just premature at this point. I'd be speculating, and I don't want to mislead anyone.
Like you mentioned about Scotty Miller stepping up. Ben Skoranek has the recovery. Mike Williams makes the big catch to set up the touchdown. How much did that factor in your view of those guys filling in when George was out?
Like I said, man, we just try to make a conscious effort to focus on the guys that are available to us. We respect them as professionals and playmakers, and with the efforts that you mentioned, they make that philosophical approach real. They confirm it continually, and so I'm thankful for that.